Hello, my name is Tabs, and welcome to episode 110 of the Growth Podcast. Now, I hope you're all doing well, and I'm finally eagerly anticipating seeing Arsenal back in action as we take on AC Milan in Singapore as part of our pre-season Asia tour, sometime Wednesday late morning in UK time. So we'll finally have some football to actually talk about, and not the usual transfer nonsense that we've had to sort of fill the airwaves with over the last couple of months. And we'll have a pod later in the week to discuss that, the game, the tour, as well as transfer sagas, which hopefully one of them, according to the internet, we've almost certainly, concretely, nearly, practically, maybe, almost signed Victor. So let's see. So maybe by the end of the week, we'll see him in the Arsenal shirt and not an AI version. But anyway, as for today's episode, we're doing another in our series of community casts where we meet members of the Arsenal online community, and we speak to Arsenal fans that you all know from podcasts, from online, from social media, and all the rest of it, who, on all the socials, just to get to know about them, get to know their love for Arsenal, how they got into what they do at the moment, podcasting, and just to get a bit more, just interesting to all these people that we see all the time, just to get a bit more personal with them. And we've been really fortunate in the past to talk with some great Arsenal fans and well-known fans like North Banksy, Ruth Beckart, Gav from She War, Gooner Dave Seeger, Detroit Gooner, and the likes of Elliot Smith and Poz from the Arsenal Vision podcast. And you can find those on our back catalogue, and I think they're really interesting to go back and have a listen, just to get to know these people. But before we introduce you to today's special guest, and he is a very special guest, let me introduce you to my usual co-host on these community casts. In fact, he was our first ever guinea pig guest on these community casts, and he liked it so much he hung around and became a co-host with myself. So it's a hello to Ian from Ask Cannon Picks. How are you? And you reached a big milestone this week in terms of Ask Cannon Picks. Is that right?
I did, yeah. Thanks, Tabs. Ars Cannon Picks, we reached our 600th cannon. It came in from Canada, which is a huge, when I started off that little page, I never thought I'd get 10 cannons, let alone 600. And the 600th one was posted, sadly, on the day poor Diogo Jota lost his life. Was that recent? And I've got so many in. I posted 50 days in a row recently, and I've got so many in my drafts you wouldn't believe. I reckon I'm going to make it to over 100 days in a row. So yeah, it's good, and it's a thank you to all the people out there, all the fans out there who send them in. It's really cool to see.
Excellent. And you got a new country on the list as well. Was that China, I saw? Is that right?
Yeah, we got one from the Great Wall of China. Can you imagine a cannon from the Great Wall of China? I mean, again, when I started this page, I thought I'd get a few from London or wherever. But that's one of my favourites, actually. One of my favourite locations that I've had one in from. So yeah, really, really cool. So, on to our guest. We are very, very pleased to add to the special list that Tabs called out earlier on. We're joined by somebody who is instantly recognisable in the Arsenal community. You will see him at every home game and away, and he'll be singing and cheering for our boys, whether we win, lose, or draw. It's Gooner Hillsy. You're very welcome. Do we call you Trevor, Trev, or is it Hillsy? What way do we call you?
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for that lovely invite you sent to me. It's a pleasure to be here. Most people call me Hillsy around the Arsenal community, so I'm quite happy with that. That'll do for me.
Excellent. We'll stick with Hillsy. Look, thanks so much for coming on. It's a huge pleasure to have you here. You're somebody I've been following on the socials for since God knows when, and I see all these pictures and I get very jealous. I go to a good number of home games, but I get very jealous when I see all the pints on the tables in all these foreign countries when you're at the European away games and all the crack and the banter. So look, we're going to chat a bit about that. But before we get on to how you became an Arsenal fan, we learn a little bit more about you. So where in the UK do you hail from? And outside of Arsenal, what do you love to do? Do you have any other interests or hobbies?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, gentlemen, I was born and raised in North London. But unfortunately, the Tottenham end of North London. So, I was went to school, brought up in Tottenham. I went to school actually right behind the Tottenham ground, so I had to walk past that ground every day for 5 years.
Oh dear Lord!
And every day I became a stronger Arsenal supporter, and I learned how to get in a punch-up or two with a few Tottenham fans down there, let me tell you. But that was in my younger days. I'm long past those days now. Yeah, and and I was taken to the Arsenal as a very young man by my uncle, and that's it. Being an Arsenal fan ever since I can remember, to be honest.
So you growing up so close to the ground, was there ever a danger, like, you talk about the butterfly effect, was there ever a danger of you becoming one of those fans of that other lot?
No, not a chance. Not a chance at all. I mean, my uncle Pat, God bless him, God rest his soul, he took me to the Arsenal at a very young age. I was only 8, and I was Arsenal. In the words of Bobby Robson, the God blessed him as well, who passed away. But his in immortal words, something he says is that when you're a young man, you get taken up those stairs and you see that patch of green for the first time. And without being able to do a thing about it, you fall hopelessly in love, And that's what we did to the Arsenal. That's what I did to the Arsenal,
Yeah.
Never wandered, never thought about anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, that's actually a beautiful image, because you literally took me back to my first ever game, walking up the steps of Highbury and seeing that patch of grass. It's no surprise it's come from somebody like Bobby Robson. You were involved in the very popular Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast with Fergus. How did you become to be involved in it, or indeed were you part of its foundation? How did that all get off the ground?
Yeah, that's quite interesting, really. In that I moved my season ticket. I was in the upper tier and I moved it to the lower tier many years ago now. And I got to know a chap that sat next to me called Johnny, who's a mutual friend of Fergus's and myself. And he just said to me one day, my mate does a podcast, you fancy coming on? And my immediate reaction was, no, that's not me. I don't do that stuff, You see some of the stuff that goes on some of those podcasts. I'm not being involved in that. Rant away, But they talked me around, and I went on, and they'd been going for about a year when I joined, I think, and it was audio only, and I went on, and do you know what? I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being able to put my view across and giving my opinions and telling people about my love affair with the great football club of the Arsenal. So yeah, and I've never looked back. And now I think we're just getting better and better. We stayed static for a while, but over the last 2 or 3 years, we seem to have grown quite a bit, and we attract some crack. We have a cracking band of listeners, and I hope we continue for a long time to come.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent podcast, and like you do a really good and excellent Arsenal history series on the podcast as well. It's something I'm very interested in. Like, so you must hold a keen interest in the club's story.
Yeah, I do indeed. There's the history of our great club interests me greatly, and I've got hundreds of books on our club, hundreds of books on different aspects of our club's history, quite recently and right back to the start. So we did the history series. We did it a few years ago now, and there's a few gaps, and we weren't quite as good at doing things as we are now. So strangely, and I hope you don't mind me plugging this coming Monday, we're back. Is it the 28th, I think? This coming Monday, we're back.
Nice.
First podcast of the season. We've had June off. And the first one we're doing is a bit of a recap of the history series and adding some new bits in with Andy Kelly and Mark Andrews. I don't know if you guys know them.
Yeah.
They are two wonderful historians of our great football club.
Yeah.
Their knowledge is unlimited, their knowledge. They always bring something new to the table. So we're going to talk about the Arsenal. We're going to talk about a few people that you hear about but don't possibly get mentioned so much. Allinson and Whittaker, So I'm looking forward to Monday. We'll go again.
Yeah. That's really cool. I know Mark, was it Mark actually, that he was on recently, just to mention another podcast, he was on with Tim Stillman on the Arsenal Vision podcast, and he was talking about obviously there's the thought that Arsenal bought their way back into the league, but he put, I won't ruin, I'll let people go and listen to it, but he basically put them right. So Mark is somebody that I think even the club kind of touch base with to get some facts straight, really, as well, isn't he?
Oh, they do indeed touch base with him, Absolutely, they do. They're very knowledgeable men, and I'm jealous of the way they seem to retain the information. You know, I read a
Yes.
book. 10 minutes later, I've got to go back and read it again. You know, because I've forgotten. But that might be more to do with my age than anything else. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love the history of our club. As I say,
Yeah.
right from Dan Skin at the start, right through to the end of Wenger and the troubles we've been through since then, which are fingers crossed, hopefully now being put right,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Hopefully next season we will get into that, because God, it's really shaping up to possibly be a special season. But I have to ask, you are so well known on social media for your tattoos. I have to ask, how many do you have in total? How many are Arsenal related? And do you have a personal favourite?
Yeah. Most of them are Arsenal related. I haven't got a clue how many I've got. Probably about 15 or 20, something like that. They're all over my back as well. My back's covered in them as well. I just tattoos are a very personal thing, guys, and
Mm.
some people don't like them. Some people do like them. I happen to really like them, so I have them on my body. And if I'm going to pay that money to have them done, I'm going to show them off, especially when I've had a few beers as well. You know, it comes
Yes.
off a lot easier when I'm slightly under the influence. The one that gets my favourite one, possibly, and the one that gets most attention is obviously the one on my belly. Possibly not because of the size of the cannon, the size of my belly, but yeah. Yeah, people seem to know me now for that. And if I take my shirt off, cameras seem to come from nowhere. There's
Yeah.
so many pictures of my belly all over the internet, you know. But I genuinely, right, I don't mind, you know. I don't mind. I know I keep going on about age, right? Age is just a number. I know that. And that's the way I look at it, right? But I'm at an age now where I can do one or two things. I can stand in the corner and be grumpy all the time, be a grumpy old man and moan about this and moan about that, or I can join in with the younger ones and some my age as well and have a good sing song, have a jolly, you know, have a laugh and a joke. And I choose to do the later. I really do.
Mm.
The group I hang around with are great. They go from quite young people right up to my age and a bit older. And it's wonderful. And we're all of the same mind, you know. Let's have a sing song. Let's have a jolly. Let's support our club, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Very, very well said. Because, yeah, you could be a wallflower, and there's nothing wrong with that per se. You can support. We all support in different ways, but I absolutely love. You're right. When Hillsy's belly comes out, the cameras just kind of go to it like magnets. It's fantastic, and I'm looking at your belly here in front of me. Like, I want you to talk about this iconic pic. I'll very quickly describe it. So you're on the shoulders of, I'm guessing, a friend. Who is it?
Yeah, that's a friend of mine called Sam.
Sam.
He's a bit of a gym freak. Strong,
Yeah,
very
well,
strong.
he's a
Was
strong
picking
fella. He
people
looks
up.
like he's a strong fella.
He was picking people up. And then one week I said to him, Sam, I'm 19 stone. You'll never lift me. And before I knew it, I was up on his shoulders, boys. Up on his shoulders. And loving
Absolutely
every
right.
second.
Yeah, and you have your Arsenal jersey in your right hand. The arms are aloft. Sam is loving it. Like, whereabouts? Like, what game was that at? Where do you remember where?
I can't remember what game exactly it was, boys, because what we do is we tend to all congregate around the bar near Block 5. There's a few of us get together and they start singing, and then a few more will join, and everyone else comes around and have a great big sing song before the game. And it happens before every league home game and Champions League home game. The friendly games like the League Cup games and the Emirates Cup games tends not to happen so much because you get different people go to that games. It's lovely because people that don't normally get a chance to go to the Arsenal
Yeah.
get a chance to go to those games, you know, so that's good. But any league game or Champions League game, we're always around by Block 5. If you're ever there, boys, come and join us. Anyone come and join us. We have a good old sing-song. Might have a pint or two or four, but yeah, we have a great time. I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
And while I've got you, my belly tattoo last year got me to do something that was a once in a lifetime experience, boys. I was at home one day and I got an email. Hiya, Hillsy. Love your belly tattoo. Love your social media. Do you fancy being in an advert for hotels.com with
Wow.
collaboration with the Arsenal?
Yeah.
So I said to my missus, I'm not doing it. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't be sick. Anyway, I went, they told me he was going to be there and I said, right, I'm coming. I'll be there. So I had to get to this hotel this old hotel in the middle of nowhere in the morning. Well, honestly, boys, I'd never seen nothing like it. It was a proper film set, cameras on rails and all that, and all these lights.
Wow.
This taxi dropped me off at the front door of this hotel. I just walked in. First thing I done was got shouted at because I walked straight in. They were filming. They were filming the advert, and I walked straight in there. So I wasn't popular from the start, but it was the most amazing day, right? The makeup lady said my hair was a bit scruffy and my beard was a bit scruffy, so she gave me a bit of a free beard trim and a shave my head, which was really good. And I mean, it's out there now. It's on. You see it on YouTube.
Yeah, I've actually seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Saka, Raya, and
Wow.
And Saliba. What a day!
Fantastic.
What an unbelievable day. You have to tell me, did any of them rub your belly?
No, they didn't. No. I'll tell you, that Saliba was your typical English gentleman, French gentleman,
Yeah.
Very suave, very polite, very well spoken. But Raya and Saka were like a couple of 4-year-old kids.
Really?
I loved them. I absolutely adored them. They were brilliant the way they were. But yeah.
And what kind of things were they doing? Like, what makes you say that? What were they up to?
They were just, for one instance, we were doing a bit of a scene with Saliba, and Saka and Rao just poked their head around the door behind the camera so you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And the director said, come here. And they both giggled and ran off like school kids. You could hear them running upstairs, disappearing off. Yeah, they were fantastic. Great day. One of the best days of my life.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, after my wedding to my beautiful wife, of course. She will listen to this. And the birth of my children and the birth of my grandchildren. Yeah, yes. So about there, yeah.
About that. So, and I have to ask, Mrs. Hillsy, what does she think of all the tattoos? Is she a fan?
I'm very lucky, right? I'm not gonna talk too much about marriage and the ups and downs and the pitfalls. My first wife was lovely in her own way, but my second wife, sort of, she loves me and she encourages me, and Excellent. She encouraged me to get a tattoo. She encourages me to go to football, and I love her dearly, and she looks after me because I'm getting on, as I keep saying. She feeds me and dresses me and gets me drinks, and yeah, she lets me go to football. Strangely enough, there's a game this weekend, this Saturday. I think it's the under-21s are playing in Vienna. And we've agreed to have the grandchildren for the weekend, so I can't go. They've only just decided to release tickets for it last minute. Yeah. And she was saying to me, you go on, you go. I'll be all right with the grandkids. And I said, no, I can't. I can't do that to you. Couldn't do it. So I'm missing Vienna because I'm a lovely husband, you see.
Well, I call that credit in the bank. That I call that. So later when we're in the Champions League final, you'll have absolutely no problem getting permission.
And when you go abroad, how's it all received? How's the persona and because I'm sure you like to mix in with the local culture, and you obviously have a few drinks, and you're supporting Arsenal abroad, and how are you received when you're going to these countries and get the odd look from these international fans?
Most of the away fans know each other, not necessarily personally, but you see people around,
Yeah.
Especially when you go to the games a little bit further away, like in northern Norway or over in Eastern Europe, you tend to get a smaller crowd, but a regular crowd going. And I know most of them, and we're all lovely people. If it's an older crowd, we tend to sit around and talk about Arsenal and the past and experiences and what we've been up to and what drugs we're taking because we're poorly and how many times we go for a wee in the night, and all that.
Oh, yes. I've often been very successful on the TX due to my prostate. So.
Right, okay.
There's often tickets at 4:00 in the morning when I've had to get up to get a ticket on the TX. I'm with you on that, and maybe the conversation with the youth is a bit different about the drugs you're taking to keep you going.
Yeah, they do keep me going, the youth, and the lad, the 3 or 4 of us that go to most of the games together travel. There's a bigger group. We travel together. They're all younger than me, and they all keep me on my toes. And I just adore their company, And we hit it off really well. They sing. Whereas the old ones, we might sit down and talk about problems in life and old times. The young ones, they all sing, and but everybody's just desperate for the Arsenal to win.
Yeah.
Desperate for the Arsenal to win. Our fans are. Every club's got bad fans, right? Take them out of the equation. Our fans are wonderful, and as I said, we've not won a trophy for many years now, and I sort of share some of these younger people's frustrations. I don't share the way some of them vent their frustrations, but I do share that they're thinking, yeah, come on, I want to see my club win something, because my first season I can remember at the Arsenal was one of the greatest we ever had. But I dare say we're going to come on to that shortly, are we?
Yeah. And Tabs will agree. Tabs has said in the past that Tabs and I are similar aged, and we've seen Arsenal win the league a few times. We've seen a couple of doubles. We've seen even some European trophies, even though the internet doesn't believe that Arsenal have ever won a European trophy. But there are that generation, as you say, who maybe they've seen an FA Cup when they were younger, an FA Cup win, but they haven't had the glory of the Premier League win, and just hopefully, as you say, that's coming soon. Let's hope so. I think next season is a really good chance.
But it's an interesting topic because this is one. It's what you get out of football. If and we often have this debate either within our group or even on the podcast about for different people want different things from football. So it's maybe the camaraderie. It's maybe just the escapism, and maybe not everything is tied to winning a trophy. Again, it would be different had I not seen us, but 90, however many clubs there are in the league, only a certain 5 will win something every season or something like that. So you've got to find something in football for me beyond the I think the trophies are the icing on the cake, but you've got to find enjoyment through the whole. I hate this word process, but I'm sure you have as much fun going to games. Okay, if Arsenal, especially away games, if Arsenal win, it's great. But and depending on the type of game, but I'm sure you still have a great time, win, lose or draw. It's because it's who you're with, who you experience it with, and as long as we're sort of trying and you can see something, then and that's that for me. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to when the people you hang out with, what do they want from football? Is it about right? I'm only happy if we win something, or actually I'll be happier, but I just love going to watch football and that sort of thing.
The social side is very important.
Yeah.
I think it's important to most Arsenal fans, You meet lots of friends that you probably only see at the football that you get on really well with. The planning of trips and the booking of accommodation and trying to get a cheap price on a flight before the airline realise you're going.
Yeah.
It's all. I find it fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're so right, Tabs. The social side is very, very important because if you just went and just concentrated on the football, us in the last 10 years would have driven you around the bend,
Yeah.
Would have driven you around the bend. So you're right, mate. There's a much bigger picture for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, and look, the game is 90 minutes long. Like I nearly every game I go to. Well, every game I go to is an away game. Like obviously we're playing at home, but I'm traveling over from Ireland. But as you said, Hillsy, the booking of the flights, it's the booking of the accommodation, it's the chats in the groups, getting everything organised. It's the 2 days that you're there. Like the football is only like an absolute tiny fraction of that. Obviously, that's the reason we go and the reason why we do it, and we want us to win. But there's just so much more to it than just those 90 minutes.
Indeed there is. What a result we had last season. PSV Eindhoven away last season. 3rd trip in 3 years. I know the place like the back of my hand. But me and my mate Dan, we were looking at prices and we could either play Eindhoven or the other. What's the other?
Feyenoord. It was Feyenoord or Eindhoven.
The other side of Holland, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But these flights to Eindhoven were I think they were 34 quid return. So we took a chance and booked them. We got lucky. Everything fell in place. And a week later, those same flights were £500,
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well,
that's your quid we paid. Yeah, so that's part of the challenge for me. I love it. 28th of August, I think it is, boys. I shall have the phone in one ear and the computer in the other ear, trying to book me flights. We were on holiday last August when they were announced for this season just gone. With the wife and myself, it was my wife's 50th, and we were away on the Greek island of Skopelos, having a wonderful time. But while we were there, they announced the Arsenal fixtures in Europe. So we sat in a bar, and my wife is that loving. She forgot about her birthday. She was on her phone booking me flights while I was watching a game on the telly at the same time, the Arsenal, and working out. Yeah, she's an absolute diamond.
I was going to say, you better keep a hold of her, Hillsy. Do not let her go.
You must have one stack of brownie points. You must have a whole heap of brownie points.
On her card as well when she booked them, so it was the right result,
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm going to pass you on to Tabs for part 2, and we'll get to know a bit about how you became an Arsenal fan, Hillsy.
Just before we get there, I was fortunate enough to be at the PSV game as well. It was the first time I'd seen a score away in Europe. I'd been like 3 or 4 times, and every time it'd been 0-0 or with I'd been to 3-0 nils. Atalanta, the Copenhagen when we lost to Galatasaray, and I can't remember. When we lost 1-0 to Inter Milan. So I made up for it with the 7-1 with PSV. So I was quite happy with that game. And
Tabs, I'll tell you what, that trip, not only was it 7-1, but we talk about the socials outside of the football. Carnival week.
Carnival, fantastic.
What a week that was. Yeah, great week. I didn't want to come home.
Yeah, I know, I bet. And look, I saw your tweet today pleading with the Emirates drink staff, making sure they do things right with the Guinness. Now, I've got a feeling that you're expecting a bit too much for them to to pour. I know you wanted to pour it properly, but for asking them to clean the pipes, I'm thinking you might be onto a loser there. But my thinking is that unless they pour a whole load pre-poured at half time, then it's going to be just carnage. It's going to be carnage. Or it's going to be a really bad pint.
That tweet was a bit tongue-in-cheek.
I know.
But I sometimes go and watch the rugby as well. And what they'll do at the rugby, about 15 minutes before half-time, they'll pull about 200 half pints and leave them on the back of the bar to settle. And then when you order, they've only got to top it up, and it's lovely and settled, But whether that will happen at Arsenal, as you rightly say, I doubt.
Anyway, moving swiftly on into your love Arsenal. So you mentioned it was your uncle Pat. I myself had an uncle Diego who took me to Arsenal. So we've got a lot to be grateful for our uncles, and he took you to he got you into Arsenal at the age of 8, and he took you to your first Arsenal game at the age of 8. Is that correct?
He did indeed, yeah.
And what game was that?
It was Arsenal v Wolverhampton Wanderers in December 1970. The Arsenal won 2-1, and I've still got tickets and programmes from the game.
Wow,
fantastic!
Yeah. And that was the day it happened. That was the day I fell in love, and nothing was going to ever change. My granddad was a big Tottenham fan, and he tried his best, but he didn't even get a look in the door. It was done.
And then what about your dad then? So if your granddad was a Tottenham fan, what about your dad?
Yeah. Well, my dad was a Tottenham fan as well, but he didn't go to many games. He wasn't like a big game goer. When my uncle got in there and said, "Can I take him to the Arsenal?" And I reckon there must have been some banter between my dad and my uncle. And my dad said, "Yeah, of course, take him." And that was it. Job done.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, there's that butterfly effect. If your dad had been a match-going fan, Spurs fan, things could have been a bit different. Thank God he wasn't.
Who knows? Yeah, thank God it wasn't. Yeah, thank God it wasn't.
Yeah. your belly button would be covered with a chicken on a basketball. So there we go.
Well, I like to think, although I do have my doubts, that I would have more common sense than to have a chicken and a basketball. Who knows?
Well, no, if you're a Tottenham fan, then maybe that'd be in question. But anyway, great. And as you say, you walk up those steps. So was it North Bank, East, West, Clock End? Where were you?
It was West Stand Lower. The West Stand Lower. Now I might get pulled up here by some viewers more in the know. The West Stand Lower at Highbury used to be terraced. Yeah. And in the late 60s, or it might be not late 60s, they took the terrace out from under the lower tier of the West Stand and put seats in. Yeah. And those seats used to be unreserved. You just go up to the gate, pay your money, get your ticket, and sit where you wanted, And that was where my uncle first took me. into the lower West Stand seats. Yeah,
I think there was an area in front of the seats in the lower tier that was standing, because that used to be like the junior gunner, and you had these like little railings and stuff like that. So I think that the kids could stand up, and the parents with the kids could stand up at the bottom of the lower West, and then you had seating, and then you had the upper West. Because I remember I would stand there as a junior gunner, as a young kid, like watching games from there, and yeah, you're right, that first sight of the grass, I don't think anyone forgets it. And I remember when I took my son for the first time, sort of living vicariously through him and watching his reaction. It's just such an emotive experience. And you just know, having been there, what he's experiencing, and you just love it as much. You're sort of reliving that moment. It's great.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful. Even now, when I take my kids, they don't go to many games. But I know I don't look old enough, boys. I don't sound old enough, but I've got a daughter of 40, right? She was 40 in January. That hit me hard. My baby girl is 40. It was difficult to take. But even now, they'll come to a game once in a blue moon, and my son comes once every now and again. My oldest son comes once every now and again. He's coming to the Leeds game, actually. And I still get this great feeling about taking them into the ground, even at that age. Still makes me feel good knowing they're Arsenal fans, and I did that. Wonderful.
I know, I love that. And look, and since then, can you at all work out how many home games you've been to see the Arsenal?
Well, boys, that's quite interesting, because I'd love to claim that I've been to every game since 1970, never missed a game. But that isn't the case. It's far from the case, actually. I had quite a long time where I couldn't get to hardly any games a season, bringing up my kids, There's a story there that I won't bore you with, but I had to spend a lot of time bringing up my kids, and for many, many years I didn't get to many games. So about, probably about 10 years ago or so, I give myself a kick up the backside, and I said, look, you've got to start doing what you love again. About the same time as I met this wife, my Donna, I've been with her 13 years. The encouragement came again, and I got my season ticket back, and I've never looked back. So I've undoubtedly been to hundreds and hundreds of games. But actually, what games, when, and where? The memory fades, boys. The memory fades. The big ones you remember, but So over the last 10 years or so, I've hardly missed a game, home, away, Europe, wherever.
Well, and I was just about to say, what got you into going to? Can you remember your first away game, and what got you into going to away games regularly?
One of my first away games I can remember was at Cardiff in the old Ninian Park.
All right.
They weren't very welcoming, let me tell you. They didn't like us over there in Cardiff. It was a bit of a hair-raising experience in them days. It would have been, I don't know, in the mid-late 70s, I reckon. And, that was one of my very first ones. It was an introduction to away travel in the 70s and 80s was different to it is now, You didn't wear your away colours. You took your life in your hands. If you were playing at Millwall, you went to church every day the week before and prayed for good health, So it was different then. If I'm honest, I much prefer the away days now. Not everyone that goes, but I much prefer the atmosphere. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier on the tension, So, Cardiff away, Sheffield Wednesday. I can remember that as a young man going to Sheffield. West Brom. There was never a station at West Brom. You used to have to get off at a station called Smethwick and walk about.
Smethwick Road East. For some reason, I just remember that because I've been to West Brom away with following another football team. But that was. I remember it wasn't the greatest walk from the station to the ground to the Hawthorns.
No, it wasn't. No, but in general, the welcomes weren't very good away grounds in them days. I mean, White Hart Lane, the old White Hart Lane, the entrance to the visiting fan section was on the corner of the Park Lane and Tottenham High Road, and it was like a pen, and they herded you all in there while you were waiting to get through the turnstiles, and then the things are starting flying over the top of the wall, and well, I don't need to be any more descriptive than that. You can work it out with your imagination. But I love an away game. I love an away day. Can't wait till Man United. All the indoors, the Northwest, you see. So Man United, Liverpool, Everton, City, all them teams up there, I get free accommodation, so I'll just go
Oh,
up there.
nice. That's a bonus. That's a huge bonus.
It is a bonus. Let me tell
and look, we're a voice only medium, but Trevor Hillsy's face has lit up the screen just thinking about going to Man United. Or the grin on his face, just looking forward to it. It's just plain to see. So it's good. So what would you say is your favourite away ground or that you've been to domestically and in Europe?
My favourite away ground in England is any week we win at a ground. That becomes
great answer.
But no, seriously, there's a few I like. I love Bournemouth away. It's a tiny little ground. It's a lovely day out at Bournemouth. For some reason, I like Brighton away, although it's a hell of a place to get to and from. After the game, it's a nightmare getting back into Brighton, but I still like going there for some reason. I love going to Everton. I love Goodison. It's such a shame they're moving on this season. I love the blue side of Liverpool, and I love the ground. I don't know if you guys know that I was friendly with Kevin Campbell, and when he passed away, it hit me quite hard. And for the start of last season, I had a Kevin Campbell flag made up, and we took it on a trip all around Europe, come to every European away game, and we showed it off. But when we played at Everton last season, they were having a Kevin Campbell day. So the Everton fans and the Arsenal fans joined together. I took the flag there. It was a wonderful day. Brilliant Everton fans, brilliant Arsenal fans. And at the end of the season, I made sure I folded the flag up, gave it to one of Kevin's good friends, Jason, who's made sure the family got the flag now. So
nice.
That's really nice. That's really
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had.
Sorry.
No, go on.
No, so I like Everton. I like Fulham. It's an easy day at Fulham. For some reason, I like going to Forest, right? But my favourite ground to go away to, mainly because we win there a lot, right, is Tottenham. You can't beat a winner at Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
You can't beat it. No. When Gabriel scored that winner for the 1-0, I was at the front with Coke Guy. You know Coke Guy's
Yes.
Yeah. I get on all right with him, Nick. He's a good lad. And we stood next to each other, and Gabriel come and celebrated right in front of us. Yes. Oh, it was wonderful. And a press photographer took a picture, and there's Gabriel celebrating the back of Gabriel, and me and myself and Coke Guy in front of him. And Ruth Beck painted a painting of the picture,
That's right,
Lovely.
She told us about this. Yeah, we had her on.
I was truly humbled. Thank you, Ruth, if you're listening. Truly humbled I was. Wonderful. So Tottenham is favourite, Let's win at Tottenham.
Yeah, no, I've got a special a memory sort of away at Tottenham back. I think it was back in '93. Ian Wright header in the 89th minute. I'd come from work I was doing a work placement from university in some horrible shiny suit, but I had a red and white tie, which was the only thing that I did. And I just remember 89th minute. I'm not a religious person, but praying, and then found myself jumping up and down on my seat in this old too big suit for me, just jumping up and down. Ian Wright header, I think 1993. So and that was at the old White Hart Lane. And so very very good memory from being there. Unfortunately, it's the only time I've managed to go to a game there.
Season. Yeah. There's no better feeling in the world than a last minute winner.
Against
last minute
Tottenham.
Winner at Tottenham,
yeah. At Tottenham as well.
At Tottenham. Wow, wonderful. There's no better feeling.
Yeah. And what about abroad? What's been like one of your favourite away trips and away stadiums?
I'm fortunate enough to have been to quite a few, right, to visit some great stadiums. But my favourites, my two favourites, at the extreme ends of the spectrum, the Bernabeu last year knocked me for six. What they've done to that stadium is amazing. It's the first football stadium I've ever been in where it was too warm. They had the roof shut and the heaters on. They have heaters in the roof,
Wow.
These big bar heaters, you can see them glowing. And I actually took my shirt off for once, not because I was drunk, but because it was too hot.
Any excuse.
And by the way, what a win that was,
Yes, yeah.
And the other one I really enjoyed, not in the last few years, was Bodo Glimt away, up in the Arctic Circle, right? Only 400 tickets were available. It was a tiny little ground, and we went up there, and it was a wonderful trip, right? Apart from the fact it rained, I was hoping for snow, but it rained all for the 3 days we were there. They were great people, welcoming of the Arsenal fans. The only away trip I've been to where you can actually walk. The airport's actually in the middle of the town. You can land at the airport and walk to your hotel.
Really?
Yeah, and then walk to the ground. it was great. It was a bit expensive, but I never let the missus see the credit card bill for a couple of months. Everything was fine.
It's an experience.
So,
it's an experience. You're traveling. You're broadening the mind. It's just an excuse to go and see a new city.
Yeah. I mean, pull me up if I'm going too far here. But a few years ago, we were drawn to play Vorskla Poltava away, right, in the Europa League. Right in the it's towards the east of Ukraine, yeah? No airport there, Poltava. And I talked to a couple of mates of mine and a lad who's far more of an Arsenal fan than me, John Williamson. He's been poorly recently, John. So I wish his good health. I wish him very good health. But we were talking and he said, well, look, boys, you can fly to a place called Kharkiv. He said, but we can only fly out on a Tuesday and come back on a Saturday because I only fly Tuesdays and Saturdays. And the game's on a Thursday. So do you fancy it? Yeah, let's do it. It was about 40 quid return. Got these flights to Kharkiv, right? Landed in Kharkiv on a Tuesday. It's the greatest place I've ever seen. Everything was great, apart from the floor that had a foot of white snow on, right? You were properly just outside the Russian border, Kharkiv. They've had a lot of trouble there now, obviously.
No, of course,
I hope they're all okay. But so there was about 7 or 8 of us. We comes into the airport and it's just great. We know there's a train station. You ain't got a clue where. So this bloke comes over, right? Leather jacket, huge, great man. He went, "Who are you?" So we're all about my age, yeah. None of us are young, and we said, "Well, we're Arsenal fans. We need to get to Poltava. Come with me. Me and my friend, we're airport taxis. We'll take you." It was about a 3-hour road journey, right? And I thought to myself, no way I'm getting in a taxi with you lot. But anyway, we talked to the girl at the information desk, and I said to the girl at the information desk, "Is that an airport taxi over there?" And she just looked away. She wouldn't talk to me. I don't know whether she was intimidated by him. Well, but 7 or 8 of us, we got our heads together, right? And this is how we think, us old uns, right? Yeah, look, we're all getting on a bit, but we're all handy in our day. So come on, 4 of us in each car. If they want to start anything, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So this bloke, we go to this bloke. Yeah, okay, take us to Poltava. He said it'll be €100, €50 per car. Bearing in mind we're going 3-hour road journey, right?
Yeah.
We said, right, we'll have it. Well, these 2 old bangers pulled up outside the airport, boys. One of them lived around a window in the side, and it's about -15.
Wow.
So we've got in them, got off the airport ground, right? And the first thing they do is turn onto this bit of wasteland. These two, honestly, turn on this bit of wasteland. And the 2 drivers got out, and I'm sitting in the car saying to the lads, "This ain't looking good. I hope I can still throw my right hand as good as I used to 30 years ago. We're in trouble." But anyway, they had a cigarette. Cut a long story short, they had a cigarette, jumped back in the car, drove us to Poltava up these ice roads, right? One of these motorways was uphill, right? And there must have been a foot of ice on it. And as we're driving up it, there was Arctic lorries sliding back beside us, going back the other way, sliding.
Oh, my God.
So we get to Poltava Tuesday night, drop us at the hotel. Turns out they're wonderful, these taxi drivers, great blokes.
Nice.
Sat there having a beer, this black beer, weird black beer. One of my mates, Chris, says, "Boys, I'm just looking at Sky News. We've got a lot of trouble." I said, "What's that?" He said, "They've declared martial law in Ukraine because the Russians are getting a bit leery across the border." So we said, "Whereabouts in Ukraine?" He said, "Right here where we're sat, Poltava."
Oh, no.
There's Sky News has got this ticker tape going across the bottom. Arsenal fans trapped in Poltava. My missus has seen it and trying to get hold of me. So she did get hold of me. She got through in the end. She said, "Are you all right?" I said, "We're fine, yeah." She said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, the beer's 30p a pint. I'm getting drunk."
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Anyway, they ended up moving the game from Poltava to Kiev because it wasn't safe, and we got the train from Poltava to Kiev. But the last bit about that story is on a Wednesday morning. So we had Tuesday night in Poltava. Wednesday morning, we're having a wander around Poltava. There's a few military about, but nothing too bad. And my phone rang. And believe it or not, boys, this is praise to Arsenal. It was Arsenal Football Club, a young lady at Arsenal Football Club. She said, "Hello, is that Trevor Hill?" So I said, "Yes, speaking." She said, "You're on our list of people that have bought tickets to go to the game in Poltava." I said, "Yeah, I am." "Yeah, good. Yeah, I have." She said, "Look, under no circumstances go there. It's a very dangerous situation. It's very volatile. Please forget about Poltava. The game is being moved to Kiev if you can get there. So I said, oh, sweetheart, I've got a bit of a problem. She said, what's that? I said, I'm already in Poltava. The line went quiet, right? She went, you're what? I said, yeah, there's about 15 of us here, all in Poltava. We're going to get the train tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And she went, oh, God, please be careful. Please be careful. And that was it. That was the end of the story. We went to Kiev. But what happened that night in Kiev, right? One of the most important things in the history of our recent football club. A young man made his debut as a substitute. And I knew straight away it was different gravy. You could see it straight away. One Bukayo Saka.
Wow.
One Bukayo Saka. And I knew from then we had something special on our hands. Boys, I'm going to stop waffling now and let you carry on. Sorry.
No. That's amazing. Don't listen to us. We're boring as hell. That's fantastic. So, oh, wow. So you got to see Bukayo's debut in Europe. And was that his debut full stop or just debut in Europe?
It was his senior debut. Yeah,
wow.
Full stop. Yeah.
I remember that night. Yeah, I was in a hotel bar in Cork, I think, in Ireland, and like that, I was just looking at this kid, going, "Oh my God, he was unbelievable." So, but you had a much more interesting story than I did. My God, that's unbelievable.
It was one of the coldest grounds I've been to as well. Because they weren't ready for us at the Olympic Stadium. They weren't expecting a game. It got moved the day before, so there was a foot of snow all around the stadium, ice everywhere. I kept slipping over onto my backside. My mate was laughing at me. It was but you know what? We're going back to where we started, maybe. Yeah. That's where we go for the socials, for them good times as well as the football.
They're the stories that you remember. They're
exactly, yeah.
Exactly, and look, you're going to these places. It's a reason to go to these places, and I love traveling, and it's a great excuse. I'm trying to go to a few more away games. Unfortunately, I'm lowly on the points thing, so I have to grab what I can when I can. So but yeah, I'm well up for going to places, seeing something different, experiencing something different. The football's an excuse, to go and experience, that amazing experience. You ride your luck a bit, but you've got a story for life there, and it's superb. Right. So with that, as I said, it's about memories. It's about what you do. What's your best Arsenal memory, from having seen them home and away,
Right, us older fans, we're very lucky in that we support a great football club that's given us lots of memories. Lots of memories. And I was thinking about this earlier, actually, gentlemen, and I'm going to say a few now, but there'll be a few I miss. Lots I miss because there's so many. We were so lucky. We were invincible. We should have been invincible in 1991.
That's right.
We won the league in '89, and we won it again in '91, and we lost one game all season away at Chelsea.
That's right.
When we were full of injuries, and just Chelsea pipped us that day. That team, I would back that team for '91 against anyone now. So they're a great memory for me, that team for '91, and the players, your Rocastles and your Campbells and I could name them all, but I'm not going to. But of course, there's 5-1 at the San Siro, right? What a night. 5-1 at the San Siro. By the way, I hate that stadium. You've not asked me what stadiums I don't like. I hate the San Siro with a vengeance, right?
That's up there.
1-0 at the Bernabeu, right? 1-0 at the Bernabeu. What a night that was. One that a lot of people don't mention, but 0-0 at Villarreal in the second leg of the Cup Winners' Cup, right? When we were taking a 1-0 lead from the first leg, was it 0-0? Oh, anyway, Anfield '89, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd love to say I went to the game, boys, but I didn't. Didn't go to the game.
Wow.
Didn't even bother trying to get a ticket. Sat home with the kids and watched it. Of course, winning the league at White Hart Lane. Well, come on. Especially when Tottenham are celebrating getting a draw against us when we've won the league. Sad. But the double in '71, that is the double in '71 when we won the league at White Hart Lane. That is one of my biggest regrets that I wasn't old enough to go to that game, because there's two games that people tell me about Highbury, two games that Arsenal played in that era. One was winning the Fairs Cup in 1970 against Anderlecht at Highbury. I wish I was at that. Would have been old enough to go to that game, and obviously 1971 away at White Hart Lane when Arsenal by all accounts took over the high road, the ground, the area, everything. Wonderful. I mean, beating a great Parma side in the 1994 Cup Winners' Cup final. Do you remember that night, boys?
Yeah. Yes.
Alan Smith, he's a great friend of our podcast. He comes on and he's a great man. But I tell him off because he scored much too early in that final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't take all them minutes of stress again. Couldn't take all them minutes of stress again.
And that midfield, was it Selly, Morrow?
Yeah.
Who else was there? It's just like how did we do that against like Zola and Asprilla and Brolin and stuff? It's
an incredible Parma side that was.
Yeah. It was, yeah. And by the way, Ian Selly and David Healy are great lads as well. You know, they're very communicative with fans. I love got all my heroes. I love the players from the past. But these that will still communicate with you, with a fan, right?
Yeah.
I think they understand how we feel, you know. I remember the first time I spoke to Kevin, God bless him, he asked me to do a few shows on it. He had his own YouTube channel. He asked me to do a few shows. Like, who's going to dinner? We had to wear, he always wore a dicky bowl on a Thursday. But we wore a dicky bowl and a shirt to do this show on his YouTube channel. I think it was the first one I did, boys. Well, I was absolutely cacking myself. I'm going to talk. Little old me, Hillsy, is going to be talking for an hour to one of my greatest heroes in Kevin Campbell, you know. But he had this knack. Within 2 minutes, he made himself. I think he said to me, "Oh, Hillsy, stop mucking around now. Settle down. Come on." He was as good as gold. A wonderful man, you know. And I don't know if you guys realise, but in the mid-late 80s, obviously you never had any internet or anything like that, but Kevin Campbell was a prolific scorer of goals in the youth ranks, right? He scored hundreds and hundreds of goals. And it got to a stage where you go to a game at Highbury at the weekend and you get a programme, and the first thing you'd think about is how many did Campbell score this week? And the only way you could find out was because they put it in the programme. He's got 3 again this week. Stoner Crosey's got 5 this week. He was a prolific goal scorer. And I've the greatest respect for the man. Now, I've lost my track. Oh, yeah, the greatest game, though, right? The greatest game for me. Without doubt, right? My second FA Cup final I ever went to, 1979, right? 5-minute final, right?
Yeah.
What a game of football. I never saw Sunderland put the winner in because I still had my heads in my hand sulking from them scoring at the other end to make it 2-2, you know. But when you look at that back, Liam Brady in that game, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
He was at his very, very best. I mean, he left us soon after.
Yeah.
But my God, what a class player he was.
Unplayable at times, unplayable.
He was, yeah. Absolutely unplayable. I used to drink in a pub in Haringey called the Salisbury. Oh, I'm going back 40 years now. And one morning, one day it was open and we had Jennings, Brady, and I think it was O'Leary came in because the owner, the gaffer, was an Irishman. You know,
all right.
Haringey, Green Lanes down there used to be a big Irish area. Salisbury was an Irish pub, and them 3 came in. Well, they drank us under the table, the 3 of them. What a great day we had. What a great day we had with them. And I didn't say 2 words to them because I was in awe, you know, like, get a word out. Yeah, so the 79 Cup final for me, icing on the cake, my second Cup final ever. Wonderful day, wonderful game of football. Yeah.
Nice. And you had the emotion of, you know, you had it won, or we had it won. You know, and again, the 5-minute final happened. United score 2 out of nowhere, and then it's just incredible scenes, I'd say.
We spoke about it earlier, didn't we? About the glorious score in the last minute winning, you know. Yeah. And as you rightly say, it was the 5-minute final. We're 2-0 up. We're planning where we're going for the party that evening. You blink and it's 2-2, and there's a minute to go. You know, and from that low, you can't get lower than that.
No.
To the high of a last-minute winner, like a minute later, just
and you feel like when Man United scored the 2 goals, you feel momentum is with them. You feel if there is to be a winner, it's going to be Man United who score it. But no, thankfully it wasn't.
Of course,
And I tried to explain this, like people who don't follow football or follow sport or things like, where else in life can you have this euphoric experience. And I tried to have this conversation with the wife. The birth of your kids is not a sudden last minute surprise, you've been building up to it for 9 months, and it's a different euphoria, and it's a different feeling. There's not, unless you win the lottery or something like that. I'm trying to think, where in everyday life can you experience these extreme emotions and stuff? It's incredible. And I couldn't find the right words, but the only way, because I feel sorry for people who don't have that opportunity to experience this sort of thing that we get the chance to, because there's nothing in the world that replicates it, and it's such an amazing feeling. And I guess we have to go through the lows to make sure the highs are meaningful and they're even better for it. But it was just like, nowhere else can you experience this, other than sport, and particularly in football. It's incredible. I just wish more people would experience what we do. And this is why sometimes, as much as I hate other clubs and other fans and all the rest of it, sometimes if something happens like that to another team, I will think of the fans and think, I know what you're going through. And so, like, say something like Man United winning the Champions League. As much as I hated it, I had a Man United fan, and I think he was there. And as much as I really hated it, I felt happy for him, because I know what you're going through, and that's the most amazing feeling in the world. And you lucky bastard, from that perspective. Irrespective of winning the Champions League, it's you get to experience you're winning the Champions League, and with 2 goals in the last minute, from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs, and that's incredible.
It is indeed. Yeah. Wow, and you're right. You summed it up perfectly there, I reckon, mate. In that you can't describe it, especially not to someone that doesn't know football, doesn't like football. I have the greatest respect for them. Not everyone likes everything.
No,
but you couldn't describe that feeling to that person, because they wouldn't ever know. They wouldn't get it.
No. So look, unfortunately, we've talked about best memories and the highs. What's your worst Arsenal memory?
Oh, look, mate, there's only one, and that's losing to Champions League final. There's lots of bad memories, but the one that sticks is Champions League final. I've never been able to watch it back. Never been able to watch it back.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I met Jens Lehmann in PSG last year, I couldn't get a ticket, right? Couldn't get a ticket for PSG in the semi at their place. I just fell out of I just couldn't get one.
Wow.
So a mate of mine, who will remain nameless at his request, got a hospitality ticket for the best seats in the house at PSG, right? And we walked in the complimentary bar, so you can imagine what state I was in, right?
You've got to make the most of these things.
We met a few people in there, but we met someone I'd always wanted to meet, Jens Lehmann, right? And I was a bit worried about going over to Jens, because he's got a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a hothead, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. But do you know what, boys? He was the nicest bloke I've ever met in my life. He was eating some free food. He was that posh, he even had the crust cut off the sandwiches. I didn't know whether I was coming or going with him, to be honest. But I went over and I said, "Do you mind a chat, Jens?" And he went, "No, of course not." So I said, thank you for everything you did for our great club. You gave me such wonderful memories. And I've always wanted to say to you that I appreciate everything you've done. I said, my 2 mates over there and myself, if we could have a picture with you, it would make this trip. And I said, I know you're eating, so I apologise for asking. I'll just leave you be now to finish your food. But if you feel you can, give us a shout. And about 10 minutes later, he came over and he said, "Well, boys, we're having these photos then, or what,
Nice.
All the lads were talking to him. We even broached 2006 a bit, and I said that none of us blamed him. He did what he had to do in the moment, Mate, if I'm really honest, I would have preferred to see him let the goal in, I think, and us keep it.
Yeah, that's what they should have done. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. But in the heat of the moment, you don't know, right?
Yeah, it was an instinctive reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it that much harder to take, you know what I mean, Tabs? Because you've got Lehmann gets sent off, right? And then, of course, Wenger has to make a snap decision, decides to take Perez off, who is, even with Henry in the side, right? Henry in the side. Even with Henry in the side. Our main outlet in that team was to bang it to Perez, right? So we lost all of our outlet, and we still took the lead and hung on till 15 minutes from the end. And just talking about it now, I could honestly, boys, Arsenal lay very deep in my heart. But I could burst into tears now just thinking about that night because we were so close. I would swear my life on it. If we kept 11 men on the field, we win that football match.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I actually think I was saying I write for the Gooner fanzine, and I was talking a bit about the Champions League, and I referenced that had the referee just let the play out, and they score, it's 1-0 to Barcelona, and we were the best team in Europe, I think, at that time. If we play 11v11 in that game, I'm with you, Hillsy. I think almost certainly we come back and beat Barcelona that night.
Yeah. Undoubtedly, yeah. Undoubtedly, I have no doubts about it. I really don't. I know I have a biased view. I make no apologies for that. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm going to be biased.
You're allowed to be biased in this podcast.
But yeah, we win that game. I think with 11 on the field.
It seems to be the number one choice whenever we ask that of guests. It seems to be the European Cup final. I'm more of a Wayne Bridge. Scoring at the Emirates in the quarterfinal. As a man myself, but let's not go there on multiple reasons.
How did we throw that game?
I know that team.
How did that happen?
And so it's our fault that Mourinho happened. So there we go. So we are to blame for Mourinho. So there's on multiple levels. It's so bad. So anyway, let's not bring the pod down any further than it needs to be. So let's talk about some players who's from the current Arsenal group, current squad. Who's your favourite Arsenal player and why?
Oh, right. I mentioned him just now. Bukayo Saka for me. He's Arsenal through. He's come through the ranks. I saw him make his debut. I know I rattle on about that, but something I'm proud of,
Yeah.
And it's not just that. I love the way he conducts himself when he does an interview and the way he is. He's honest. And when I was fortunate enough to do that day's filming with him, he's just a lovely kid, bit playful and just how I like people, honest. And Bukayo for more reasons than. Well, it would be probably just for what he does on the field, but it's not. There's more reasons than that. So Bukayo's my main man at the moment. But I must say that, boys, every player in that Arsenal side at the moment, when you think of where we were and where we are now, they all deserve praise. Every single one of them, because they've lifted us from the gutter almost.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
very well said.
You've got quite a few years and quite a few players to call from, but if you can, who's your favourite Arsenal player of all time and why?
Right, look, you see, I go back to my fullback here, right? I go back to the name I fall back to every time is Charlie George, right?
Okay.
And the only reason is because he was my first hero, right?
Nice.
He was my first hero. And I've met him a few times since. If anyone out there gets a chance to do the Emirates tour in a company of Charlie George, you're in for a great day.
Yeah.
You're in for a great day. He's a wonderful man. And he was my hero in 1971 and he's my hero now. He really is. Genuine.
You never forget your first hero.
No, indeed you don't, mate. Indeed you don't. I was at the Emirates with my son a couple of years ago and my son had never done the tour. So we done the tour just on our own, and I took him round. And when we come out of the shop, I looked, there's Charlie just coming out the armoury store with a carrier bag, right? And I just shouted out, and he don't know me. Although he's talked to me a few times, he don't remember me. He don't know me. I went, "Oi, Charlie, don't you disappear without me having a picture with you, my son." And you know what he did? He laughed. Come put his arm around me. We had a chat for 5 minutes and a few pictures, taken.
Nice.
What a wonderful man, eh?
Yes.
He could have told me to bugger off. He had every right to, but he didn't. He didn't.
He did. Yeah, I've only done the stadium tour once, and it was with Charlie, and it was unbelievable. He was so good. He's so good with his time. Even afterwards, everybody. There's loads of people on the tour. He take pictures, and he is Arsenal through and through. Like in the way you talk about Bukayo being Arsenal through and through. He tells lots of stories, especially about Spurs. And I remember him telling, like, we were in the away dressing room, and he told a story about it one time. Spurs. We trashed Spurs as we did, and he was telling stories about how they did a bit of damage, shall we say, in the away dressing room. But Charlie's a really, really good lad. He's a really good lad.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's great. So, look, Ian, over to you just to bring it home.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tabs. And again, thanks so much, Hillsy. I'll throw some quick fire ones to you. Obviously, you go to so many games. Do you have an actual match day routine, or do you have do you have a particular bar you go to? Do you have any lucky underwear or anything like that?
We always go to the Woodbine before the game because he's got the best pint of Guinness in the area, right? And
Nice.
Hal, the governor of the Woodbine, is a wonderful man, fantastic man. And you get a real big spectrum of gooners in there, old uns like me, few young uns, and it's a lovely atmosphere, lovely chat before the game. I live up in Lincolnshire now, so I get the train down to the game. And I try and get down early, because I get off the Piccadilly line at Holloway Road and I walk past the Emirates before there's crowds around, probably 3.5 hours, even 4 hours before kickoff. I walk around the Emirates and I take it all in. It makes me smile,
Yeah,
and then,
every time.
Course, to get to the Woodbine, you have to walk round and past Avenel Road, past the old ground. And I've only got to look at the old ground and my mind's off. My mind's gone, thinking about all the things we saw there. Yeah, and then up to the Woodbine for a few beers. And, back in we go to the ground, into Block 7. We try and get in about an hour and 5 minutes before kickoff because they have the 2-for-1 beer offer on, don't they?
Brilliant. Yeah.
So,
you have to avail of these things. Yeah. And it'll be 2-for-1 Guinness now when you go in.
Oh my Lord! I hope there's more than one Guinness bar because it's going to be rammed, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I'm as proud of Arsenal now for all the Irish Arsenal players that we've had over the years. I'm as proud now that we've officially taken Guinness on as one of our sponsors. It's a great day for us.
It's the best signing of the summer, I reckon.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah. And how do you feel? I think I know your answer because you touched on it a bit already. Like, how do you feel about the current Arsenal team? Like, do you feel a connection to it? Like, where do you sit on them?
Yeah, I think that's just talk about to put the current Arsenal team into the correct perspective. You have to look back at the end of Wenger, right? Because as much as I loved Arsene Wenger, he left us in a mess, right? And I'm not being derogatory to Arsene there. There could have been all sorts of things with the reasons. But we were in a mess, right? We had players that obviously didn't want to play for the club very much. We'd go to away games and most of the players wouldn't even come over and appreciate the fans after the game. Just walk off the field, right? And then we brought Unai in, who got us to a Europa League final in Baku. That was a trip and a half, by the way, boys.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
And I actually, contrary to what a lot of people say, I had a lot of sympathy for Emery because I think that he wasn't put in charge of who was buying and who was selling. In my mind, he was just the coach, brought in to coach. He inherited a team that didn't want to play very much. And he had absolutely no chance. And I also think, most importantly, the people behind the scenes who should have been supporting Emery, in my mind, this isn't an accusation. I have to be careful. In my mind, some of the signings we were signing confused me greatly. I didn't have a clue, and Emery's got loaded with them, and so I felt for the man. But it was best he went, and then we brought Arteta in, and a lot of people didn't want Arteta. I wasn't sure, but I thought let's give him his chance. Let's give him his chance, and I think it's now time to win something. It's been like 5 or 6 years now. It's time to win something, but he's still the man for me. Because when you think of what he inherited, and he had some difficult decisions to make. I mean, let's name a player, Mesut Ozil, right? He was difficult to handle, And Emery actually dropped Ozil when he came to the club, Emery, but then he had to play him. He was told to play him, I reckon, or pressure on him to play him. So Arteta's inherited all that. He's bought well. He's moved us up. We've come back into the top 4. We're back in the Champions League. Could have won the league the last 2 seasons, but I honestly think we've been unlucky with our squad injuries. I really genuinely do. I think we've been good enough, but not deep enough, right?
Yep.
And I honestly thought that Arteta was going to take us to the Champions League win last year. And people will laugh at me because PSG are a fine side. But I think that the only difference between Arsenal and PSG in last season's semi-final was Donnarumma. That was the only difference.
Yeah.
In that second game,
I
he was
agree.
inspired. He was inspired.
Yeah.
So where we are now, I'm very happy with where we are now. But we need to win something. But importantly, we can win something.
Yeah, very, very well said. Yeah, and you're right. Last season against PSG, two things stuck out. Number one, you're 100% right. Donnarumma just had, even in the first leg, he made a couple of worldy saves, and in the second leg, he turned into Mr. Tickle. Like, he just had arms like 100 feet long. You just couldn't get the ball past him. But if you go back and look at our bench. For even for the Real Madrid games and for the PSG games, like we had 3 or 4 academy lads, and as you said, we just weren't deep enough. But I think you're right. Next season, like he now has we hope he will have his full squad that he wants, and it's kind of time now for him to win something. And speaking of next season, like, what are your thoughts and hopes and dreams? Do you think we will go on and do it?
I think I touched on it earlier in the show, boys, in that from a selfish perspective, I want to see us win the Champions League while I can still go. But this season I've changed a little bit in that I'd take the Premier League or the Champions League this year. You know, I'd take the FA Cup as the second best. But I know we're good enough to do it. I know if our luck changes a little, if we keep a squad fit all season, right, then we're good enough to win it. And you know, and Gyökeres, fingers crossed he's coming. There's lots of talk today. God help us. I know I said that wrong. I'm sorry, boys. I'm not good with pronouncing his name.
It's okay.
It's pronounced Victor.
Why didn't I think of that? See, I'm so thick. I really am so thick. But yeah, if Victor comes, he's the forward we've been crying out for. And you see, Victor coming into the side, right, makes us look a whole different squad, because then you've got Havertz, you've got Jesus, all sort of moving around and can come in other areas, you know, if needed.
Yeah.
You know, people are talking about getting rid of Trossard. I quite like Trossard. He's got a habit of coming on and scoring a goal, that boy, you know, and that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very happy, looking forward to the season starting. Can't wait to get to Manchester for that first game. And I'm excited.
Yeah. And are you happy with the transfer window so far? For me, I don't think many can argue with who we've signed so far, and I think if Victor comes in and maybe one more, I think it's been amazing. But how do you feel about the transfer window so far?
Ideally, being selfish, I'd like to see one more come in. I really would. I'd love to see Eze come. I can't see that happening. I'd love to see that happen. But one more come in just for numbers, just to make me feel a little bit more confident. I'd have even been a bit more confident, you know, if we'd have kept Jorginho another season. I honestly would, because it would have just been there, like it was last season, there when needed, never let us down, you know, and that would have been handy. But if we go with what we've got, if we get Gyökeres, of course, I'm happy. And
it'll have been a good window.
I think Nwaneri might have a bigger part to play this year as well.
You're right, actually. 100%. And I'm going to ask you the most important question of the whole podcast. What do you think of Tottenham?
Oh, I can't swear on your podcast, can I?
Oh, you can.
Oh, yes.
You can say what the fuck you like.
It begins with S, ends in T, and's got it in the middle. How's that?
I love it. Absolutely love it. But Hillsy, from my perspective, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to these stories of the away days, and even, you know, you meeting up with your friends. I'm going to have to go over to the Woodbine now when I'm back over and have a pint with you. Thank you so much for your time. It's really great to chat to you. Keep up all that you do on social media as well. People love the people who don't get to live and go to Arsenal games. I mean, the likes of you are very important to them, I think. So just keep doing that, keep posting and do what you do. So thank you very, very much. I'm going to pass you back over to Tabs and he'll wrap things up.
No, I second that. It's you know, people can live vicariously through your posts. They could feel very close to Arsenal through your podcast and through your socials and the pictures and it's, you know, I look out for them and I enjoy watching them and seeing you and your friends, like, you know, when you're doing your trips and stuff. And I must say a slight bit of envy in there, but soon. And if I'm on an away day, then I'll make sure I sort of seek you out and come and say hello. And I see you you from afar. I sometimes meet some people in Block 6, so I know where you stand and have a drink. And often I think Gunnosaurus comes over to almost have a boogie with you and a sing and a dance since at times.
He does, yeah. He does, yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So again, look, just want to second what Ian said. You know, you were a bit fearful beforehand that you were going to talk too much, but you haven't, and I could spend all night talking to you. So thank you for taking the time to come onto our podcast, and thanks for telling us your stories. It has been incredible and really interesting and very, very, very enjoyable. And I'm sure you've held yourself back, because I'm sure you've got a whole load more you can tell. So maybe we have to do another one in the future when we have to think up some more questions to get you back on.
That would be my pleasure. Firstly, gentlemen, thank you for those kind words. I still find it hard taking those words in. I don't know why I do, but I do. But I very much appreciate your kind words. I very much appreciate the invite. If either of you gentlemen want to turn up at the Woodbine anytime, I will happily buy you a pint of the best Guinness in the area. And and if you're ever at an away game, just give us a shout. We normally meet up somewhere. It's a great crowd, and you'll be more than welcome to join us.
Nice. We appreciate that. Appreciate
it. So where, for people that don't know, where can people find you? And I'm not talking about in Lincolnshire, but on the socials. So where can people find you on the socials and your podcast?
The only social media I'm on is Twitter or X, at Gooner Hillsy. Most of the time I'm quite friendly and polite on there. I do have the occasional fallout, but they're very rarely. And of course, we do the podcast. Fergus, my very good friend, and myself, Monday nights, Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Normally start about 7:00. We've just had a few weeks off because we've done a lot, and we've both got other things we needed to be doing. But we're back on Monday, as I said, to do a history follow-up. I'm going to find it very interesting, and hopefully some others will as well. And then every Monday after that, Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Thank you, gentlemen.
Nice.
Fantastic. So look, again, this is another in our series of community casts where we've met fans like Trevor, like Hillsy, who love Arsenal, who love to share their thoughts and photos and passion for Arsenal online, and we've done, I said, plenty of others with the likes of Elliot and Poz from Arsenal Vision, Ruth Beckart, which was a lovely one to do, and the same with Amanda, PG Gooner, Princess Gooner, obviously Ian, Ask Cannon Picks, our debut, Gav from Shiwar, North Banksy, which was interesting, and Gooner Dave Seeger. So there's a few there, Detroit Gooner and others, and we're looking to do more in the future. So happy to take any recommendations or anything like that, or if you know someone that wants to come on or you think we should ask, then we'll reach out. You can follow us at the Grove AFC on X, Threads, Blue Sky, and we should have a pod out later in the week to cover the AC Milan friendly. And remember, it's just a friendly. It's pre-season. Let's not get too carried away. And other transfer nonsense when Victor finally turns up at the Marina Bay Hotel with the rest of the Arsenal gang, and there we go. So again, thank you, Ian, for helping out today. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to talk to these Arsenal legends. It's not just the players who are legends; it's some of our fans are as well.
Absolutely, and I'll embarrass Trevor Hillsy one more time. I see him; he goes red every time. So thank you for a fantastic conversation. Really appreciated your time, and I know it's time out of your day, your precious time. So we do greatly appreciate it, and hopefully our listeners do too.
You're very welcome, and thank you, boys, again. I've enjoyed every minute. Thank you for putting up with me.
No, always a pleasure, never a pain. And as always, until the next time, come on, you Gunners.